Hello. Before watching this video, make sure you choose the highest quality setting that your computer will allow you to have.
Hello students, and welcome to our second video on how to approach ACT data passages. So just like we did last time, please take a moment to read the introduction. Okay, hopefully you read through that introduction, and as we learned last time, after you read the introduction, what you need to do is just jump right into the questions, and that's what we're going to do right now. So question 1 says, Figure 1 shows that a seismograph located at point 125 degrees around Earth from an earthquake's focus would receive which type of seismic waves, if either, from that earthquake. So PS, both, or neither. Okay, so I'm going to go, and here's the earthquake's focus right here in that image. Okay, by the way, this is a scientific model. It's a conceptual model of what's going on. This isn't actually what the Earth is like. It is just a visual representation. So here, earthquake focus is at 0 degrees. I'm looking for 125, which doesn't show exactly, but I know 125 is between 103 and 142. Okay, so here it says shadow zone. Neither P waves nor S waves received as seismographs. So it's neither. Okay, so basically I'm just reading the model for information. So this answer here should be D. That's pretty easy. Let's go ahead and come over here. According to figure 1, question 2, when P waves encounter the boundary between the mantle and the core, the P waves most likely do what? They stop, don't continue, they enter the core and are refracted. I don't know what that means. Let's pretend. Changes to S waves, changes to a third type of seismic wave. So I gotta go back and look at the boundary between mantle and core and see what's happening to the P wave. So let's go back, let's find mantle. I found solid core, outer core, and then here's the mantle. So on the boundary between the mantle and the core, it looks like they're bending, okay? Do any of the answers say anything about bending? No. I can kind of cancel out F, H, and J because one says stop and don't continue, and that's not what happens. They don't change to S wave or a third type of seismic wave. So, I could rule those out and just answer G. But let's, say I need to find out what refracted means. Here's the cool thing about the ACT, and this is tip number 6. Vocabulary words are almost always defined for you. Okay, so let's see if we can scan the text really quick for something that says refracted. And lo and behold, right there. Refracted means bent. The definition is in parentheses. And that's what we saw here. This P wave, it got bent. Okay, so there we go. The answer is G. All right, awesome. Let's look at question 3. Based on figure 3, which happens to be right next to us, so that's awesome for a given seismograph, the time elapsed between the arrival of the first P waves and the arrival of the first S waves from an earthquake focus 10,500 kilometers away would most likely be. Then I have all these different time frames. So let's break this down. First of all, I need the time and then the distance. So if I look at my x-axis, I've got distance, goes up to 10,000, and then my time goes from 0 to 23 minutes. Well, I don't have 10,000 and a half, so I'm going to have to extrapolate, which we talked about in the last video, means looking at the pattern and then predicting what's going to happen based on the pattern that you're given. Okay, so I'm at 10,000, so 10,500, both of these are looks like the difference between them keeps getting bigger. So the difference between them should get bigger. At 10,000, look, the difference is from 13 minutes to really more than 23 minutes. So at 10,000, it's already above 20 minutes, or excuse me, above 10 minutes. So if it's at 10,500, it's going to continue to be more than 10 minutes, which means the answer is D. Let's look at question 4. Based on the information provided, the time earthquake starts at the focus in figure 2, so we're going to look at figure 2, corresponds to which of the following points in figure 3? So this is one of those questions where we're going to have to look at two graphs, and compare them. So the time the earthquake starts at focus, so right at the beginning, okay, and then the time it arrives. Well, this point here corresponds to which point at figure 3, which is this one down here. So let's go down here. Well, figure 3, where does the earthquake start? It starts right here at time 0. The only answer choice that has time 0 is answer choice F. So there we go, that's my answer, comparing two graphs. Now, to the final question for this passage. I'm going to take a little bit longer with this one, okay? According to figure 2, which of the following statements best describes the relative amplitudes of the first P waves to arrive at the seismograph and the first S waves to arrive at the seismographs? So let's finish reading this question first. The amplitude of the first P waves to arrive at the seismograph is, then it gives me 4, it completes the sentence. There's 4 options that complete the sentence. Now you're going to see lots of questions like this on the ACT where there are 4 multiple choice. It's always 4, but there are 4 sentences. They all sound really similar, and it can be kind of confusing. So my advice is scan all the answers quickly and mark what's different, just like what I did right here. So it's easy for me to know what I'm looking for. I'm saying that either if you scan it right now, take a moment to scan it, I'm saying that either the P waves are smaller than the S, they're larger than the S, they're not 0 but the same as S, or 0 and the same as S. Okay, so that's tip number 7. Scan answers that have sentences and mark the differences. Okay, so I'm going to have to go back to figure number 2 to figure that out. However, there's a word in here that's used a lot that I have no idea what it means, and the word is amplitude. Well, we said that usually vocabulary words are defined, and they almost always are. This occasion, though, it is not defined. The term amplitude is not defined. So this is one of those instances, and you will see them, where they are testing to see if you have that prior scientific knowledge, if you know that fact, if you know what that vocabulary term means. If you don't, here's tip number 8. Don't get stuck on questions about scientific facts. Okay, if you don't know, do the best with what you got and just move on. You don't have time to get stuck on a question. Okay, so let's say I don't know what amplitude is. I'm still gonna try to answer this as best as I can. Remember, I'm comparing size, something about the size of the S wave and the P wave. When I go back up over here, the P wave seems to be smaller than the S wave. So I'm going to go ahead and pick A, which happens to be the correct answer. Amplitude actually means the height of the wave. Awesome, good job going through the second video. Now you have some more practice released ACT questions to do. Now for the second set, we've given you some harder questions so that you have some harder passages so that you have practice working with some of those more difficult passages.